Shut this right off. I don't need to jump by a vibrating text. She's been pretty good, actually. Only about once an hour, she texts me and says, "What are you doing?" And I'll take a picture of one of your trust
I'm buying
tubes.
a new giant telescope.
Buying a new giant telescope.
That's right. Hey, everyone. Scott Roberts back here live from the Northeast Astronomy Forum. And with me today is Ed Guenther from EphemerADK. I met Ed several years ago.
5, 6, yeah.
Right at the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party. Yep. You know, he's a good friend of David Levy, which many of you know, Comet Discovery and stuff like that. When I met Ed, I was really inspired by his work that he does with youth, and I suppose that EphemerADK works with youth all the time, inspiring them with science. Is that right?
We do. Yeah. Thanks, Scott. I'm really happy to be here. Yeah, I've been working a lot. I do a lot of school group stuff still as outreach. I used to work with a mental health resort where people recovering from mental illness. And that kind of got me interested in teaching people about the stars. So that's kind of how I started out doing this. And being at that star party, it was kind of a joke. Anybody who knows David Levy, David Levy called me up and said, "Hey, you're going to speak at the Expo Scientific Star Party in 2019. And I'm like, "Sure I am." And he laughed. And then Kent Martz called me a week before the thing and said, "So what's your topic?" And I was like, "What's my topic?"
Right.
He goes, "Yeah, David Levy says you're going to speak at the Star Party."
David has pushed a number of people that extra step. You know,
it's true. And it was a step I needed to take. It was a lot of fun. Incredible dark skies out there in Arizona. That Star Party is amazing. And that just kind of got me talking more, doing more outreach and speaking. So now, since the pandemic, we were doing pandemic safe star parties based on the stuff you guys were talking about. We did a lot of cleaning the lenses after every viewer and making sure everybody was secure. And we continued doing star parties right through the pandemic.
Wow.
And a lot of that stuff you were talking about on the Explore Scientific Star Parties kind of led the way.
Oh, that's good.
And now it hasn't stopped.
It actually worked.
Yeah, it absolutely worked. Yeah, and it hasn't stopped. So this year, we decided to come down to NEAF, and we live in the Adirondacks. We're about 3 hours north of NEAF, and we have some great dark sky sites. But we're a guides company. We do have some telescopes, but we've been hooking people up all day with places they can come and get dark sky within a couple hours of the city.
I see.
And so that's kind of what we're doing here. We totally didn't expect anything, but we've got a fire pit, and we're making s'mores for people over there in the fire pit. And just kind of having fun.
Inside or outside?
They're inside. Yeah, it's a pretend fire pit, and
pretend fire pit.
They're moon pies. They're moon pies. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And
sure.
And we're getting some buzz, and that's nice. Buzz is nice. We're getting more people outside.
So let's talk about the program that you guys do at EphemerADK.
Okay.
And and the benefits that people who attend that. What happens at EphemerADK?
Well, we're a full service guide agency, but what we're doing for star parties is we're trying to get people to look up instead of looking at their phones. Right. That's a big difficulty from the pandemic.
Yes, it is.
It's a huge difficulty because they don't want to, everybody's walking around like this. So a lot of what I do is I set up at unusual locations. Once a month in Plattsburgh, New York, I set up downtown in a plaza that has street lights all around it. Okay. And I set up an 8-inch scope. And we're looking at objects we can see naked eye with all this light around us. And, and if we can't see
because the universe is still out there,
it's still out there. And so people, they want to have their phones, but a lot of kids, it's their first experience ever with that Mark I eyeball. The light comes from the source to the scope to their brain. That's right. And I have kids that have coming back since they were one. I had a kid that was 1 year old once. Wow. I was showing the moon, and he saw the moon, and he kissed the eyepiece. Wow, when he looked in, he goes, cool. "Hello, moon," and he kisses that eyepiece, and he got lips. It was like 20 degrees. The lips were frozen. It was terrible. But every time I set up, he comes running down to see that scope now. Yeah. And he's 6 now, and he just keeps coming back because I made that connection. That's awesome. And that's what he wants to do. So that's what we do. Right. We want it to be everybody's first look, but not their last look at the stars. Right. You mentioned something about working with kids with mental illness before. And did you do astronomy programs with them as well? Only tangentially. We did it if we were doing something and we were doing like an overnight camping trip and we would have scopes we would teach. It was a lot more, I hate to say it, but it was a lot more laser pointer stuff without the scope, which is nice, but I'm at an astro imaging conference and, when you say laser pointer, people kind of look at you sometimes. No, I mean, it's astronomy. Yeah, right? but teaching those kids and getting them out. I had I would frequently make a contact with somebody who would say, you know, my dad never did this with me. And yeah, and so that for me was kind of a big connection. Yeah, was it Carlos you had on a couple of weeks ago on the ES Star Party?
Oh, you mean the guy
down
Arizona.
in Tucson?
Yeah, right.
This guy's doing amazing outreach in Tucson about, and he's doing it with astronomy for homeless people, and it's
changing their lives.
It is, and it's
changing their lives,
and that's why we do this.
Yeah,
that's a lot of what we do. The other side of it is we do some. Right now, it seems like vineyards like us, and so they have us come out and do vineyard star parties. So you know, there's
that's cool.
It's the big spectrum. You know, you do things. But the working with the kids and that first look at through the telescope, that's huge. That's what I like to do.
That's awesome. How many kids have gone through your program, do you think?
I was telling the other day, since NEAF, which is the first time I did a safety star party, I think I'm at 3,100 kids actually looking through the eyepiece.
Wow.
There are some repeats in there, but on a weekend, we do one weekend a month in Plattsburgh, and I'll do anywhere between 150 and 200 people in a 2-hour period. And we're looking at sunspots and just waiting, and that's how it starts.
That's great. That's great. Well, I think that you're gonna see the 6-year-olds turn into 20-something-year-olds.
That's what we need.
You know, I say it all the time, but you know, the world has big challenges right now.
Yep.
And we need to find the brightest and the best amongst us to solve these problems. You know,
and we can make people the brightest and the best.
That's right. That's right. You just don't know who has the innate ability, and astronomy is this gateway into science. Yeah. And you know, so I take my hat off to you, man. Yeah.
You taught me.
I know you're having a lot of fun doing this.
I'm also having a lot of fun. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So anytime you're up in the Adirondacks, you know, we've talked about it before. We canoe, we rock climb, we do star parties and come over and get some more. We've got a bunch of them still. So come get a snack.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks, Ed.
Scotty, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. We're here live from the Northeast Astronomy Forum. This is the 2023 event. You know, if you're anywhere near the area, you need to come on down and see. There's over 100 vendors here. There's great talks and great people like Ed Guenther.
Thank you. So we gave away a couple handouts today. I gave away one of our hats, our branded hats, to a person who traveled the farthest. He came from southern Brazil.
Wow.
And he traveled here to be here for 4 days so he could do the imaging conference. This is it. And he's just a guy that likes astronomy. So we reach everywhere.
Excellent. Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks.
Thank you very much, Scott.
We'll be back with more talks. Take care.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.